Okay, if you're here, you've already watched the shooting part of this video, so that's not going to be in this video. This is just critique of officers, how they responded, etc. Again, these two guys appear to be asleep. The cops are there. They're not responding to questions. They don't know if they're armed. They don't know if they're involved in burglary. If you read part of the lawsuit, it sounds like they were involved in a burglary, but they weren't armed, or one of them wasn't armed. And when they say armed, were they armed with a weapon or a gun or a knife? I don't know. There's not a whole lot. I mean, I don't think they should have shot these guys, but they did back into the car and ram it. But both these guys ended up getting shot. One guy is suing. The passenger guy is suing because he's got the mentality of a 5-year-old. He's now blind. He's got a metal plate in his head because these officers shot. And I think the officers know they did wrong because you're going to see the officers' reactions. So let's get up to the part. If you watched the other video, you saw the shooting. This is how they got there.
Eagle has a Slim Jim.
You got Slim Jim, Zeke?
Goes back to the car to get a Slim Jim. Cold, icy, unsure footing.
Cover me. Get up here.
You notice he's directing these other cops. These other cops are young and they're inexperienced. He's like, okay, cover me. Get over here. Stand over here. This sergeant is the only guy that's got a little bit of experience, and it doesn't seem like he's got a whole bunch. I mean, he does a pretty good job for what he does. You have to do what you got to do, but would I be Slim Jimming a car? I'm not sure if I would be Slim Jimming a car. I'd make these guys wake up. I might bang on the window with my baton, hit the siren. I mean, I'm not sure I'd be Slim Jimming a car with two people inside that might be burglary. This Slim Jimming defeats the purpose that they were in fear of their life. It goes counter that they were considering these guys a threat and a deadly threat, and that they were so worried that they had them at gunpoint and they were hiding behind cover. Now, later, after they shoot them, they pull out the bulletproof shield, and they're acting like these guys are a big threat. But now, they're standing at the car with a Slim Jim. This guy's the most ranking guy there, sergeant, and he's got a Slim Jim with both hands tied up, no weapon. Now, he tells this other guy to cover him, but again, there's no justification reasonable that these guys are a big threat and that they're fearful of these guys. Or they wouldn't be doing this.
One more chance, open that door. One more chance. Open the door now. Open the door now. Keep them hands up where I can see them.
Okay, the problem with this is if they were really asleep, and they could have been on drugs and passed out, who knows whether they were faking it, stalling. When you wake up and there's bright lights in your face and you can't see and you have people screaming at you, you're a little confused and disoriented. Now, I don't think these guys didn't know they were cops, but he threw the car in reverse and he tried to run. They were trying to escape. They were trying to get away. They do say later on in the video that the plates on the van do not come back to the van, which is pretty common when crooks commit crimes or burglaries. They'll steal license plates and put it on their car, so if somebody sees it and they get a plate, they'll have the wrong plate. It's also common if they steal a car, you don't want your stolen plates on a car, so you take the stolen plates off, you steal other plates, and you put them on a car. So, is the van stolen? In this video, it doesn't say that, but I'm just concentrating on whether the shooting was justified, and I don't think it was.
Do not start this vehicle. Do not start the vehicle. Open the door.
Guy does a target glance, checks is clear. He sees if somebody's behind him. He sees if he's got an escape route, and he backs up. The problem is he turned this way, and when he tried to turn out of the van, he backed into the car that he couldn't see because it's a van. That's why he hits the cop car. I don't think he was trying to hit it.
Open the door. Open the door. Don't shoot him. Don't.
Okay, so you already saw the shooting. He tells the guy not to shoot him. Cops are in front. No cops are behind. Why are they shooting the guys? These guys are fleeing. Yeah, they might have hit the car, but they don't even shoot after they hit the car. They shoot before. So let's skip past the shooting part. Okay, now we're going to go to control the scene, medical, etc.
Shots fired, Summit. Summit, be advised, shots fired.
So his radio wasn't transmitting, and he didn't get it off because he didn't get a response. And then when you heard him, you heard it echo in the car. So for some reason, his radio was off.
99 traffic on dispatch 1.
So this sergeant is like, shit. They just shot these guys, and it probably wasn't
To your
justified.
hands!
Now they go into they're a danger. Well, they probably are now because you just shot at them. So if they weren't a danger before, they might shoot to defend themselves now. Okay, so the sergeant now, which they're screaming, show me your hands.
On name checkup.
Everybody's a little stunned, like shit. Now what do we do?
We're okay, Summit.
Well, we already shot him,
All
so we
right.
got to do something.
We gotta move in, guys. Let me see your hands! Hands up!
Both cops said they fired 3 rounds. I think I counted 4 rounds on the door when they go in for the guy.
Keep it covered.
He tells them to keep cover. Again, this guy's kind of like, the sergeant's kind of like, shit, man, what do we shot these guys, we probably shouldn't have, now they might be dead, we don't know if they're armed. Now we're getting the shield out. Why weren't you have a shield when you were picking a lock? Why weren't they a threat earlier, and now after you shot them, they're a threat? This case is really bad. Both cops are behind cover. So it shows that all cops are in front of the car. Now remember, they shot from this position here when the car backed up. So all the shell casings, crime scene where they were standing, where the shells came out of the guns and landed, all that is kind of important in an investigation to kind of reconstruct this incident when it happened, when you're doing your investigation. Now, as this video goes on, you're going to see cops walking, medical, footprints everywhere. I mean, absolutely no crime scene. I was just like, oh, dude, you're killing me. All these cops here, there's nothing that bugs me more than to come on a scene with 10 cops and 8 of them are standing around just watching. And there's usually 1 or 2 guys doing everything. If you're on a crime scene, either do something or get out of the crime scene and leave. You know, you're part of the problem or part of the solution. Start doing something. I mean, it's not that damn hard to figure out a crime scene needs crime tape. And you need to mark evidence on the ground when you come across it so no one else steps on it. Throw your hat over it. Throw a piece of paper over it. Get your notebook out. Fold a piece of paper in half. Make a little tent and drop it over the bullet. Do something to mark evidence so other cops, when they show up, won't be walking all over the rounds and destroying your crime scene. You know, there's broken glass out here. When the shots broke the windows out, where the glass fell, where the vehicle was moving, all that will help how this thing happened. Now, obviously, we have a little bit of video footage from these guys, so they're going to be able to do it. But still, you want a good crime scene preservation, and it just bugs me when I see them don't do that.
Okay.
Now, remember, this is a long time.
All right.
These guys are sitting in there bleeding out. They don't bleed out. Neither
Was
one
there
of
a
them
weapon?
died. Here comes a car
Okay,
driving through.
okay.
Has no idea, just drove to a kill zone that these cops already shot and they're going to shoot again.
Let me see your hands. Put them up. Put your hands up.
Now, in a sergeant's, favor, he doesn't know if these 2 cops that fired
Keep me
saw a
covered.
gun,
Come on.
were they shot at, etc. And he didn't ask the question. Remember, because cops are on videotape, we're kind of taught and we're we understand we don't want to make statements that incriminate us. We got to be careful what we say. So there's broken glass all over that crime scene. These guys aren't moving.
Keep your hand where I can see it.
Nobody said they've seen a weapon yet. I still don't know if there's a weapon in the car.
Send me 29. 2 males.
Okay. I want you to watch the response of this officer. And when I saw this, I was like,
keep your hand where I can see it.
This guy's seen somebody shot.
905 Summit.
So both these guys are in here moaning. I want you to watch the expression on this guy and how this guy reacts.
Send me 29.
Look at him. He's like, oh man.
2 males.
That little response right there you'll be able to tie that together as the officer kind of reacts later, as things are processed.
GSWs.
Again, we've got a shield now. We didn't need a shield when we were trying to pick the lock, standing in front of the car. Now we need a shield. Why? What
Give me
changed?
my,
I'll tell you what changed.
keep him covered.
They shot him. This guy goes back, Sergeant. He's getting gloves on. He's getting his medical kit. Again, he's the only one that's trying to do something out here. And the other cops are kind of, the 2 cops that shot are kind of in semi-shock a little bit. They're a little ineffective, but this sergeant makes it worse when he takes their gun. So, and I'll put a link to this if you want to go watch the full video from the source video.
Let me see that hand.
Okay, so there's a female officer that comes on the other side that not a lot of help. She tries to drag the other guy out. Let me move forward here. After they do a little bit of first aid, they finally wait for the ambulance and sheriff.
We can't. Okay, calm down, man. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down, man. Calm down. Calm down. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Chris, it's okay. I know. Okay. Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, so this guy right now is processing that I just probably killed somebody and my career's over and I may be going to prison and I may be losing everything because I shot too soon because I was scared. You know what? I don't know why this guy shot, but both guys, I think the other guy shot probably more for sympathetic. I don't know which one fired first. Sympathetic fire in police work is when one person shoots, other people shoot. And there's videos out there to where you have 10 cops there and one guy shoots and then all 10 cops start shooting. Sympathetic fire is not justified. It's not authorized. You are not allowed to shoot because another cop shoots. You're allowed to draw your gun because another cop draws his gun. You're allowed to believe what another officer tells you, but you must justify when you pull the trigger why you shot. And your justification cannot be another cop shot. You have to be able to identify the threat to either yourself or others. And if you can't do that, then you don't shoot. So I don't know which one of these guys shot sympathetic fire, which one fired first, whether they both fired because the other one fired. Doesn't matter. No bullets should have been fired. And this guy is having a hard time dealing with that.
It's okay. Calm down, brother.
So the sergeant is trying to control the scene, trying to get medical, trying to coordinate an officer-involved shooting. It's cold. Now he's trying to deal with an officer possibly going into shock because he is the realization of it. And remember, he went into fight or flight. He was in a deadly encounter. He was in a fight or flight situation. His heart rate's up. He's standing around. He got a huge adrenaline pump. and now he's not doing anything. That's the problem with these high-risk incidents. Afterwards, if you don't stay involved and have to do other things, it kind of compounds the reactions to the fight or flight.
Chris, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. I got you. Come on. Come with me. I want you to sit down on the back of my cruiser, okay? All right? Deep breaths. You're okay, brother. It's okay. It's all right. All right, sit down. Hey, I'm going to secure your weapon, okay?
Bad move. Man, when he did this, I was like, come on, dude. Now, somebody's going to say, look, the guy's incompetent. He's freaking out. Probably ought to get his gun away. I don't think this guy's a threat to anybody. He's dealing with the shooting. He's not a threat. There have been several psychological studies that law enforcement kind of identify with their gun and badge. It's part of who they are, their identity. And by taking that, you kind of, whether it's demasculate them or knock them down a notch, or that's why agencies, the first thing they want to do when they want to spank you is, we're pulling, give us your badge and gun, you're relieved of duty, you have no more police powers. And that's how they kind of like, oh, okay, we're going to screw you. We're going to take away your power. So psychologically, taking a guy's gun after he's been in a shooting, it was a life or death situation. The last thing you want to do is disarm a guy. Now he can't defend himself. Now he doesn't have a gun. Now he's on scene of a shooting. He's got to do all this, and you've taken his gun. Now, the sergeant says he took this gun because it was policy. You know what? If that's their policy, it's a bad policy. Most policy is you never take a gun till you have another gun to give the guy. He's not a criminal. He hasn't been convicted of anything, and he's not, why are you taking his gun? This cop says policy is we take it to secure it for the investigation. Well, you can do that. The way we did it when I was working is we would move the guy to a room and we'd have another gun for him and we would swap guns. So he didn't, we weren't taking his gun like, hey, dude, you did something wrong. Some agencies don't like to read cops their rights because they think they're victims instead of suspects. When you read somebody their rights, they're a suspect. And some agency says we don't read cops' rights because they're a victim. And anytime they're involved in a shooting, if you're in the rights, now you're making them a suspect. Well, if and buts coconuts, you can argue that. The legal scholars can go ahead and argue that back and forth. But taking this guy's gun is not a good move. The sergeant may have said this guy's about to lose it, and that's why I'm taking it. But that's not what he says why he took it. He says he takes it because it's policy. It's not good.
Okay.
So the guy's having a hard time dealing with it. He thinks he's screwed up. He thinks his whole life going in front of him. What do? You take his gun and give him more to where, oh my God, they just took my gun. They're going to arrest me. Now I'm going to go to, oh, they think I'm wrong. Oh no, now you've made the situation worse for this guy, in my opinion.
Chris, I don't know where the lock is on this one. Sit.
Great security holsters. Unless you have it, there's so many different security holsters out there. This sergeant can't even get his partner's gun out of his holster, but that's another issue.
It's on the inside, right here. Okay, can you get it for me? Stick it out slow for me. Okay, there you go. It's all right, man. It's all right.
He just took his gun, man. He may work. So he secures his gun by laying it in front of his car. So did he really prevent the guy from getting it if he was worried about him? No. Did he really need to do that? No. Some cops are going to argue that he should have. Okay. I disagree.
Relax, man. Relax. Same thing, just relax. How many rounds did you fire? If you don't know?
3.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Stop shaking.
I can't.
Okay. 905 Summit Services. It's okay. Can you notify my 104, my 101? We had an officer involved in shooting. See, did you fire your weapon?
Yes, I did.
Okay. All right.
Okay, here's where the sergeant, again, he's got so much to do. He's notifying his 101, 104. I don't know if that's the detectives, if that's the shooting team, if that's the lieutenant. I don't know what their numbers are. But He's got a lot of notifications due. He's got people hurt in a van. He's got a crime scene that's insecure. This sergeant is doing the best he can, but he's doing what he's comfortable with, and he's doing what comes across as easy. And he takes this guy's gun, and this guy, it doesn't even work for him. He's in another agency. I'm telling you right now, if another agency told me to give them their gun, I'd tell them to kiss my ass. You ain't getting my gun. I don't care what your policy says. I ain't in your policy. I didn't sign off on your policy, and I don't work for your agency. I was in an officer-involved shooting. I just defended myself. I didn't do anything wrong. You ain't taking my damn gun. Now, that would be me. This cop, he's not real happy about giving up his gun, but he goes along with the program because he's like, hey, this guy's a sergeant. Our agencies work together. I don't want to piss off this agency. I'm thinking this guy might be a sheriff. I don't know, but I think this cop taking this guy's gun, totally, absolutely 100% wrong. I don't think this guy should have gave it up, and I don't think he should have took it. Hell, I ain't know if I let my own agency take my gun on a scene. I'd be like, you ain't taking my damn gun. I'm out here on a crime scene. You want to go back to the office? You want to start this investigation in a secure area where I'm not out in a crime scene where maybe this guy's family's going to come out here and try to shoot me? You're not taking my damn gun. What the hell's wrong with you? But, again, this guy's losing it. He can't even think straight, so he's not going to say that. This guy's handling it a lot better, but this sergeant just made it worse on this guy because now this guy's like, shit, man, why is he taking my gun? I didn't do anything wrong. What the hell? That ain't my policy, but he gives up his gun.
Just, I don't know what your guys' policy is. We usually secure the weapons just to make sure, okay?
Okay.
So, just relax. I'll secure your weapon right now. It's just for integrity purposes.
This guy's agreeing, but he doesn't really want to. I can tell by he's like, man, I didn't do it. Why are you taking my gun? But he doesn't disagree with him. He's probably a young guy, and I don't know. I just think that's BS.
Okay, so I'm going to secure your weapon, all right? Looks like we got enough other officers on scene right now just until your chief gets here, okay? I already took Chris's, so it's nothing personal on you, okay?
Did you call chief yet?
Yep.
Okay.
They've been notified, okay? I want you to just hang out here, just relax, guys. Deep breaths, you're alive, you're going home alive, all right? Okay? All right.
So this sergeant's doing a pretty good job. He's telling him to breathe. He should be getting him some water. He should be getting him someplace warm. They're out there freezing in the freaking cold, standing around doing nothing. He's got a lot of things going on, and he can't really concentrate on these officers because he's got no help.
His camera is on, okay? So you know.
That was a clue saying, don't give me a statement and don't say anything. It's going to be recorded. That's why he said that. He wasn't saying it for your benefit or mine. Now, I want you to watch as this video progresses, this guy's face.
Okay. All right. Chris, it's okay, man. Okay. Deep breaths, okay? Okay.
Notice the shaved head. But Rick, why are you picking on the ball? Oh, we'll get into that later.
It's okay.
So, I'm not sure when all the ambulance showed up. I didn't cut any of this out. That was cut out of the film. I'm not sure why, or make it shorter. I mean, the film's 30 minutes.
No, so we need another 29 if one hasn't been started already.
It's okay, guys.
That blank stare, stress, probably going into shock a little bit. They should get that guy warm and get him drinking some water. Usually on OSIs, officer involved shootings, you want to assign an officer to the officer that was involved. And that's his job, is to take care of that officer. You don't want it, the priority isn't taking a guy's gun. That's not the priority. That's a bad policy. It's an old policy, it's outdated. So medical shows up to the scene. they kind of will usually trash a crime scene a little bit, but the medical doesn't need to go in front of the car, and that area should be blocked off and marked. And it has
905 Summit Services.
Sergeant's still kind of like, okay, you know what? I'm one guy. What can I do? I got to worry about these guys. The ambulance, medical.
Yeah, I'm gonna need get a 134 and 158, and advise both of them I need them to come in ASAP, please.
Now, I don't know if those are badge numbers.
It's okay.
Cops still freaking out.
Deep breath, brother. Deep breath.
He's standing around doing nothing. He's got all this energy. You saw him shaking his fingers? That's all that adrenaline. All that. Now his mind's kind of saying, I screwed up. I shouldn't have shot. How am I going to justify? I didn't see a gun. What? And, you know, I'm not saying the cops are right or wrong. I'm not defending them. I'm just telling you what's going on and why things happen.
So
And
you Tony called Dawson too?
You know what? Your chief has been notified. He'll probably make that call. Okay.
I didn't hear what he asked. Let's go ahead and see what he asked.
So you Tony called Dawson too?
You know what? Your chief has been notified. He'll probably make that
I
call.
don't know if he said call the officer or whatever. That officer should be taking in, you know, he should be on the phone with his chief, his lieutenant. He should say, this guy took my gun. He should be, you know, communicating for himself. Okay, so here the sergeant gets a little irritated with public. Remember, when people are coming home in their neighborhood, they don't know what's going on. They see an ambulance. They don't know if somebody's sick, drunk. They're just trying to get home. And the sergeant kind of gets irritated with this person trying to drive through because he doesn't have the road blocked. He doesn't have any other officers doing anything that they should be doing.
Let's go!
Oh, this is the wrong part. He
Come on,
wants an
pull up.
ambulance
Let's
to hurry.
go!
I guess it's another fire truck.
You gotta get him out, man.
He gets frustrated with a car driving through later, I guess.
Okay, Chris, I'm gonna secure your camera, okay?
Blank stare, staring off. This guy is just really kind of needs.
I think I just locked my keys in the car. No, I didn't. Hang on.
The sergeant's running around checking when the tape cut off. He's worried about securing and gathering shit instead of worrying about his guy out there freezing, going into shock. He's worried about securing weapons. Put 10 seconds faster here. Gets us some points. You can go watch the whole video if you want.
Hey, Chief. Hey, we're backing up Lakemore.
Okay, so here's he going to explain to the chief on what happened. Now, he knows he's being recorded, so he's not so if it seems like he's kind of gathering thoughts, he is. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing to the chief. He doesn't want to say, "Hey man, I don't think this is a good shoot." He doesn't want to say things that are going to be recorded. Even though when the recording's off, that's exactly what he's going to say. Is, "Hey, I don't think it's a good shoot. I don't know how these guys are going to survive this." And one of my guys is freaking out, and he's not handling it well because I think he knows he shouldn't have shot. He's not going to say that.
A 36 attempt at Tractor Supply Plus. Revved on seat, had two males hunkered down in the car.
Notice everybody walking around the crime scene, mashing in brass, footprints everywhere. I mean, just absolutely no crime scene control.
On a street on Main Street. I asked Lakemore if he needed a 10. He wasn't answering. He wasn't answering checkup. So Chris and I responded. Once we got to the scene, two males in the car wouldn't answer the door, wouldn't wake up, acting like they were sleeping. Lakemore officer says, "Hey, it was running when I pulled up, or they turned it off once I got out of my car." So they wouldn't answer. So I went and got the Slim Jim and casings.
These guys are walking all through this crime. These are probably highway patrol. They love to come around and snoop around and mess up a crime scene, and then they'll leave. And you won't know who they are and who was there. They won't cut any paper. They don't help you. They could be putting up yellow tape around this crime scene. They could be doing this. Instead, they're always highway patrol, whoever the state police is, they're always looky-loos. They want to come on a crime scenes and play cop, and then they screw up stuff and they don't freaking help. They just drive me nuts.
These are all over here.
Yeah, as I said, trying to watch out.
Yeah, I just realized that. Went to get my Slim Jim, had the Lakemore officer cover me. I was starting to Slim Jim the door. Driver woke up. I said, "Open the door, man, open the door." He looked behind him, saw the flashing lights behind him, looked right at me. He threw the car into reverse, peeled out, slammed into the Lakemore Cruiser. As that was happening, I turned and was running.
He left out the part that I told him not to shoot. Now, did he leave that out intentionally, or is his mind... Remember, his mind is, he's got officers over here, he's got guys in a crime scene, he doesn't have things done, he's got a checklist he's trying to do, he's trying to brief the chief without saying something wrong on camera. So this guy is seriously multitasking while he's telling his story, which is why the story is going to change later and have more detail.
Towards my cruiser to attempt to get in. I figured he was going to pull forward and try to take off at that point. And as I was running to my cruiser, I hear shots being fired. Chris and the Lakemore officer both fired rounds at the vehicle. I haven't spoke to them yet as far as anything they saw or, why the rounds were fired.
So that's a clue. The chief is like, well, wouldn't you know? I mean, wouldn't that be the first thing you ask is, why did you guys shoot? Did you see a weapon? He didn't ask because he didn't want to know the answers on camera. That's why he didn't ask.
One male, both males were shot. One male is already in the ambulance. The other male is still in the vehicle here. They're working on getting him out right now. So that's where we're at. I have not notified BCI.
This is where small agencies kind of, they miss the boat. If any of you guys work at a small agency, you need to take notes or visit larger agencies and ask them what they do on scenes. An officer-involved shooting, now maybe this is the first one they've had or they don't have a whole bunch, but there needs to be checklists and people need to be notified, and it's very easy for someone to go, look, in an officer-involved shooting, we're going to need SBI or whoever they're calling, usually State Bureau or the state, DOJ. They usually get the state in there because they have the resources and the bodies. They'll call them in and they'll do the investigation. It's supposedly a different agency, so it'll be cleaner, but it's basically still another form of government coming in, covering government. So they call, when you have a checklist, this sergeant, all he should need to do is tell dispatch, we have a OSI, please activate the OSI checklist. And dispatch should have a checklist that says, hey, when there's an officer-involved shooting, here's the people we need to call and notify. The chief, the lieutenant, detectives, State Bureau Investigation, get them filed, and whoever else needs to be on that scene needs to be on a damn checklist. And then the sergeant, all he has to do is say, we got an officer-involved shooting, activate the checklist. He shouldn't even have to say activate the checklist. There should be a checklist, and dispatch should know when there's an officer-involved shooting, start notifying these people because they're going to need to do it. You cut down that delay. You cut down that I need to remember 30 things. The other thing you can do at smaller agencies is create your little checklist that you keep in your car. And when you get to these scenes and you've been to a scene and you can get checklists from anybody, any agency that's been around for a while, a larger agency, on what to do at a burglary scene, what to do at an officer-involved shooting, what to do at a rape scene. You can have these own little checklists, and it just makes it easier. And anytime you have complicated tasks or tasks that needs multiple things done under not calm environments, usually stress, rapidly evolving, bad conditions, freezing, cold, rain, etc., a checklist helps you not to skip steps, and it makes sure you get things that need to be done. Another things they do in a minute is we got to notify the prosecutors because the DA's office got to come out here. Nobody's notified the DA's office yet. The DA's office should have been notified on an officer-involved shooting automatically. So, I mean, it's just kind of a little frustrating knowing that this could be so much easier and done so much better and more efficiently. And for some reason, these smaller agencies either don't try to establish this, they don't deal with it till they have to, and then when they deal with it, they're like, man, I hope I never have to do that again. Instead of saying, what did we learn from this? What kind of debriefing do we need to do? How can we make this better and easier for a sergeant on the scene so he doesn't get overwhelmed? How can we make sure that we don't be snagging weapons on scene as a priority? How can we be sure that we don't make officers stand out in the freaking cold while we're trying to decide all this on scene? How can we prioritize and get things done better? A lot of things could have been a lot done better on this. And again, I'm not saying this cop's a piece of crap and he should be fired and he's no good and I'm perfect and I've never made mistakes. I'm just saying you need to, there's a learning curve to these things, and the more you do, the easier it gets and the more it becomes by the numbers. And they're not taking advantage of other people's learning and making it easy for them.
Yeah, I don't have that number, I guess. I don't know if...
You still got cars driving through the crime scene.
Okay, and nor the prosecutors at this point. Okay, I've secured their weapons.
Yeah, that was really important. I took them out of their holster, I took it away from them, and I placed it in my car that's been open and unlocked for everybody to grab. That was your great claim to power as a sergeant. I secured their weapons. Really?
And
still got guys wandering through the freaking crime scene.
Not yet. Our guys are okay. Shook up for sure. So
he's walking through the crime scene.
Right now, I just got them back with my cruiser. I want to get them to the station as soon as I can here. I am mad.
For some reason, and I don't know what it is, when I'm on a phone briefing, I got to be walking. It's very hard for me to stand still and brief them because I'm running it through my mind, and for some reason, and if you notice when you see cops on a phone, a lot of times they'll be walking. I don't know what it is or why we do it, but I'm telling you, from experience, when I'm briefing or there's an incident or I'm trying to get people or trying to get resources, I got to be walking around doing it. And you notice this guy is walking through the crime scene. He's walking around the crime scene. He's not standing still. And you know what? It just happens.
At 1271 Main Street in Lakemore. Yes.
There's this guy walking through the crime scene, stepping on brass, bringing in brass. Brass that was over here is now over here. And glass that was over here is now over here. Well, Rick, why does that matter? Why are you picking on him because he's highway patrol? Whatever.
Kenny Ray's been advised he should be en route. Okay. All right, thanks.
Cops standing around. I think it's the female that works for him because she was helping in the car doing the medical, doing nothing. And now she's been standing around. There's no freaking tape up. Bullets aren't being marked. Evidence isn't being preserved. She's doing nothing but standing around like a deer in headlights getting paid because, Rick, we have to, diversity is our strength and we must hire incompetent people because so we can say we're not sexist or racist. Okay.
Okay. I also called 134 and 158. Okay. Thank you, sir. We need some yellow tape.
Gee, who could have figured that out? Hell, I know people that ain't even cops that could have figured that out. But you got to tell this woman to go put up tape after one body's been extracted, 14 cops have been here, you've been on scene for 30 minutes. You have to tell a trained law enforcement, female extraordinaire police officer, quota hire, we need tape. Oh, okay. I can do that.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
This guy standing around, I don't know who he works for. He could have put up tape too. It's not just her. Him too. And it just drives me nuts to see cops standing around when a scene isn't freaking preserved and blocked. Nobody's writing down names on who's coming and who's going. Nobody's logging information so we have a good list on who to contact for witnesses on what they did. Highway patrols probably showed up, ate their donuts, and left, and we don't know who they are, where they went, what time they showed up, what time they left. Do they have video footage that we could use? We don't know any of that because nobody's doing nothing but the sergeant's running around with his kettle trying to do everything. That's not good delegation. It's not good training. In the military, they always used to preach, you got to know the job of the guy above you and the guy behind you. Because if either one of them goes down, you got to be able to figure out what to do next. So it just...
I'm good. I'm good.
Everybody's standing in the crime scene.
I gotta get yellow tape out here. I gotta get out of this scene.
Amen. Well, that's why those guns are secured good in his car. Glad he took those from the officer. Secured them.
Sorry, bro.
There's the officer staring off into space.
You okay? You're going home alive, man. Huh?
Who is that from the sheriff's department?
Who? Where? Conley?
Conley.
You okay?
I don't know if he's already thrown up or he's thrown up. He's coughing like he's gagging a little bit. Probably some dry throat, no water. You want to drink water after a life and threat or high stress, man. Get some fluids in you. Your mouth's going to go dry. It's natural, fight or flight. Cuts down things like that. Car still driving through. Oh, that was a fire sheriff something.
Billy, go around that car. That outer car.
So now he's got to direct Billy on how to put up tape because Billy don't know how to pull up tape. It's not Billy Bob. I think it's Billy Sue.
Get out of here.
So now he's pissed off at this person who lives in a neighborhood who's just coming home, trying to get home, and he takes out his frustration on a citizen. I know this is normal. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm just, it's just these are things that cop needs to learn not to do.
Who you talking to?
Sorry, Wise.
Okay.
I think he just asked that guy who's talking to. I'd be like, dude, handle your crime scene. Don't worry about who I'm talking to. You already took my gun and I shouldn't have gave you in the first damn place. You worry about your job, not worry about who the hell I'm calling. I'm not a fan of sergeants who like to get out there and...
You're gonna have to go around. You have to go the other way. You can't get in there. You're gonna have to park and walk over.
So now the sergeant should be worried about his crime scene is arguing with the public. And you got a cop, the cop that he took his gun, walking over to the car, telling him to turn around. Hopefully this guy's not a robber and a parolee and shoots the cop because he doesn't have his gun because it's secure. I use that term loosely. It's secured by the sergeant in the car. So the cop doesn't have it. Rick, why are you picking on him for taking the gun? Because I think
Just so you guys know, BCI's coming.
Oh yeah.
So.
I marked.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
So this guy says he marked something. I can't see him. I don't know how he marked them. I mean, I used to drop a sticky note. If that's all I had was a little sticky tab. I mean, not everybody carries around the little yellow triangle, A-frame tent looking things that you can set over it. But you can mark it with other things. Even, a pen, anything.
Should be one right there.
That's the most we can come up with.
Okay, that's fine.
There's
Yeah.
3 there, and there's that one there.
I didn't have any NRs either.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead and back out.
Okay.
Get out of the way.
All right.
We got a lot of different uniforms here. I don't know who works for who, whether these guys work for him, whether he's sheriff, He's highway patrol, sheriff. I don't know, a lot of different people.
Guys, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Is that what I think it is?
No front plate. Texas loves that no front plate. They'd be all over that. Texas Highway Patrol will be freaking out here trying to write that. Excuse me, can we write this guy a ticket? Even though he's parked, he doesn't have a front plate because that's the crime of the century here in freaking Texas. I bet you I've been pulled over 20 times for that shit. Highway Patrol pulled me over the other day in front of me. He pulls over, lets me pass him to pull me over to tell me, I noticed you didn't have a front plate. I said, it's in the dash. Well, yeah, but if you get in an accident, it might fly around and hit you. It's dangerous. It should be posted on the front. I got to write you a warning ticket because I need a stat. I'm like, all right, whatever. Detains me for 10 minutes, comes back. My computer's not cooperating. I can't write you a ticket. I'll let you go this time. Just put your plate on. I'm like, dude, I work on a farm. I'm pushing things. The damn plate not connected. It doesn't have a place. It's screwed in a plastic bumper and it falls off. Then when I lose it, you want me to go pay to get another one because I lose it. I said, that's why it's in my dash. Well, I understand, but, it's the law and I have to write tickets for it. So, nice guy, but it just drives me nuts. They're just out there hawking on people. I digress. I'm sorry. Let me stay here. I just saw no front plate and it triggered me. That damn guy got more shit in his trunk. And you pull out a damn party bus. Probably got a blow up doll back there. That damn trunk's got everything. Surprised he ain't got a big balloon filling it up, flying it over the neighborhood. Crime scene. So he's placing cones. He took their guns. Now he's placing cones, what, probably 45 minutes into the crime scene? He shouldn't have to do that.
Billy?
Oh, here's
Billy?
There's Billy again.
Billy? Make sure you get deputies' names. Get the deputies' names.
Yeah. What was Billy doing before he told her? Standing by the car, doing nothing. Well, I put up the tape like you told me, so I'll just stand around now. Jesus.
Badge numbers. Also, when you get a free moment and you're not working on the scene, call Chuck for Chris, okay?
At least the sergeant is moving around and walking. He's got the two guys involved that should be moving or in warm places standing still by the car.
Sorry, guys. All right.
Notice that stare. Look at that officer's face. Stare. Lost. Confusion. Fear. Uncertainty. Shock.
Hey, Billy, block that road if you can.
Yep, gotta tell Billy again. Do something else. Billy's on the spot. She'll be telling people, man, I was at the scene. I was doing everything. I put up tape. I blocked a road.
Do they have the witnesses' information from up at Charge Supply? You don't know? Okay.
See, the sergeant's just trying to fill time a little bit. He's just asking things that really aren't really important. I mean, he can get all that. The dispatch has it. Why is he asking those guys? He's kind of filling this. When he gets dead time, he's got to fill it with something that he knows. Having those two guys standing cold just irritates the shit out of me. You can't set them in a vehicle. You can't give them a drink. Good thing you took their gun, though. Man, that was a good move.
Don't answer it.
I don't know. Phone rang. He said don't answer it. A couple other cops coming up. Yo, man, we heard there was shooting. What's up?
All right, guys.
You guys all right?
Appreciate
man?
it. Yeah, they're all right.
Good?
They'll be all right.
You guys good?
They'll be all right. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no
No,
problem.
man.
Used to be cops would come up and we could talk about the scene. Now
And
because
one thing, it got
everybody's
colder.
on camera, nobody says much. We just stand around, making sure we don't say anything or ask any questions.
You need us for
Chris,
anything?
I think we're good, man.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Like I said, we marked off the casings and that was it.
Okay.
it's-
I appreciate
they're
it.
marked up there.
I appreciate it,
There should be
guys.
4 of them.
All right, we're good.
All right.
We should have the rest of the troops showing up here shortly. So we're gonna get these guys inside.
Good guys.
All right.
Win.
All right.
Yep.
All right, that's right. Hello? Yeah. Okay, all right. All right, bye.
Okay, so now there's a waiting game when you're waiting for either the feds or the state or your detectives or somebody. Once the scene's secure and you've got things done, there's not a whole lot you can do. But I would be getting these guys in a warm car. I would be getting somebody to give them a ride, have them sit in their own car, have them drive themselves to the station. It's not like they can't drive. Obviously, they're upset. Do you want them driving? It would be better if you don't. But if you don't have somebody to give them a ride, then let them drive to the damn, get out of the freezing cold. They're standing out there, their mind's going crazy. Get them away from you with the camera so they can call their wives, call somebody they can talk to, discuss it, whatever.
Hey, Billy, where's the rest of that tape?
What's Billy doing? Billy was in the car. Oh no, not
Just taping this up.
So instead of saying, Billy, you did a shit job at marking off the area, you didn't even block off this side. He's like, Billy, where's the tape? Let me go do it. Let me go do your job because you can't freaking mark off a freaking crime scene. Rick, why are you cracking on Billy? Whatever. Listen, people gonna make everything about something. I'm pointing out things that I see that.
Well, it is. Oh, dark 30 in the morning.
Oh, I guess it did. Oh, I think it did.
Once this ambulance leaves, we'll run this through.
That piece of tape's kind of critical because that's where all the shooting and everybody was standing. And if people are walking this way, I mean, he could have run it from here to this bush and then straight down and ran it to Billy's car since it ain't moving or doing any damn thing and tied it to her car. Normally, you don't want to put crime scene tape on a car because then if cars to leave, they have to retie it. But you know what? Then you retie it.
Huh? Okay.
That road
Okay.
still doesn't
I need to
look
get
blocked.
these guys out of here into an office.
Send Billy. She ain't doing nothing. Rick, why are you cracking? Oh, shut up. Sorry, Billy. Come here one.
905 Summit. Hey, I'm gonna have a deputy take you guys down to the Lakemore office. Okay? Hey, can you have one of your deputies? 17 back here, please.
That was a good move. These guys out of the damn cold. That should have been done earlier, but he was so... Look at this guy's face. This guy's handling it much better than this guy. If he wouldn't be handling all the other minutia, he could have done this earlier instead of worrying about taking their damn gun. All right, I think that's kind of pretty much it. I think a sheriff shows up here in a minute.
Chris, do you have the key for your cruiser, or is it in it? Okay, I'll take it. You want your chew or anything out of there? Hey, can you give these guys a ride down to Lakemore Station, hang out with them for a few minutes?
Come on, guys.
You want your chew out of there?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Okay.
With that chew.
So, have them come in. Zeke, it's all right, man. Just go with him. Go with him. You guys are going to go down to your station, okay? Good guys, go home.
I'm thinking this guy's the sheriff.
I'm going to have Conley take him down to your station. I'll fill you in.
Okay. I got
Yeah.
prosecutor's office on the way out.
Well, okay.
BCI
I also, you know what? I kept forgetting where we were. I told Hoover. He said he was going to call him too.
I talked to Hoover.
Okay.
I called.
That's your guys' cruiser.
Okay.
I'll fill you in.
All right.
Zeke, you want to just go back to the office, get warm, okay? Is that all right with you?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Is it stolen?
That I don't know yet. Well, the plate comes back to a different vehicle.
So this guy is like, is it stolen? He wants to. This guy's thinking, do we have a good felony that we could justify the shooting, or what's going on? He doesn't try to take over the scene. He kind of shows up. He knows it's chaotic. He knows that he's going to get info when he gets it. I've seen sheriffs show up and freaking think everybody should start bowing down and what's going on and why is it that, and starts pointing and directing. And so, I mean, this guy shows up kind of like, hey man, I just got up. One of my guys in a shooting. Let me go out there, see what's going on. I like the way this guy freaking handled it and showed up. And now you're going to notice the officer, the sergeant, is going to turn off his camera.
How bad's the other guy?
My thing stalled. I had to restart it.
Good.
All right.
Zeke, you want to just go back to the office, get warm, okay? Is that all right with you?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
Is it stolen?
That I don't know yet. Well, the plate comes back to a different vehicle.
How bad's the other guy?
I don't know. Took a headshot.
Oh.
So, I'm securing my camera.
Let me leave mine on.
Yeah, just go there. I'm just securing it because I'm done with the scene, as far as I'm concerned. So.
Okay, so he sends this officer away. He says he's securing the camera because he's done with the scene, meaning I want to turn it off so I can brief the sheriff what really happened. That's why he's doing that, for those who don't understand, cop who wouldn't necessarily understand that. But anyway, look, overall, he did the best he could, what he had. Probably doesn't have a whole lot of experience in this. Things could have done better. My big beefs was securing the crime scene and cops standing around doing nothing, contaminating, moving around. Nobody's really doing anything. They don't have a checklist to notify people. The shooting wasn't justified. I don't think it was justified, but the prosecuting attorney ruled it was because they were cops and they were, I don't even know how he could justify it. They were in fear of the police car that they hit. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, who knows how it'll play out, whether we'll hear about it again. But I thought there were some good lessons here. All right, we'll end that there.